a third party. Well, we are moving on now from this story to another news that is coming in from the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has imposed a cost of rupees 1 lakh on an NGO, United Voice for Education Forum, while rejecting its plea seeking to set aside the top court's 2014 decision to exempt minority educational institutions from the provisions of the Right of Children to Free and Compulsory Education Act 2009. An anguished bench led by Justice B.V. Nagarathna has remarked that such petitions challenging the top court's constitutional bench judgment will break down the entire judicial system. The top court has also observed that it is restraining itself from issuing criminal contempt of court on the petitioner. Justice Nagarathna said, and I quote, "What's wrong with you? You want to break down a system. We are not entertaining any writ petition against our own order. How dare you do this? Don't you know practice? Now we'll start penalizing. They will cause a breakdown of the entire system. We are enraged. What kind of advice are advocates giving? We will start penalizing for advocates giving wrong advice. No writ petition is maintainable against a judgment of the Supreme Court. This is the grossest abuse of the process of law and of the court. We dismiss this petition with a cost of rupees 1 lakh payable to the Supreme Court Legal Services Committee within a period of the given written in the verdict, and let this be an example for all such petitioners." Joining us on the broadcast is Sambhav Sharma. Sambhav, the Supreme Court really enraged with the petitioner over here imposing a legal fine of 1 lakh rupees because it actually wanted to challenge a writ petition against a Supreme Court judgment itself.
Well, absolutely. And here, what Justice B.V. Nagarathna has said, it becomes very important. And here, Justice Nagarathna, as you rightly pointed out, has shown her anguish. And in a way, Justice B.V. Nagarathna remarks that such petitions challenging the top court's constitutional bench judgment will break down the entire judicial system. And now, what is more important is that the constitutional bench of five judge CV, as it is called, the 5-judge constitutional bench or the 7-judge constitutional bench, it's a big constitutional bench. And if if such petitions are filed in the Supreme Court challenging constitutional bench's judgment, and in a way, Justice B.V. Nagarathna has pointed out that this will break down the entire judicial system. And the Supreme Court has observed that it is, restraining itself from issuing criminal contempt of court on the petitioner. And in a way, the Supreme Court is very clear, and that the top court has imposed 1 lakh fine, a cost on an NGO, United Voice for Education Forum, and also rejected its petition. Basically, this petition was filed seeking to set aside Supreme Court's earlier 2014 judgment to exempt minority educational institutions from the provisions of the Right of Children to Free Compulsory Education Act 2009. Here, Justice B.V. Nagarathna has remarked that such petitions challenging the Supreme Court Constitutional Bench judgment will break down the entire judicial system. And Justice Nagarathna said, and I quote, "What is wrong with you? You want to break down a system? We are not entertaining any writ petition against our own order." And she further said that, "How dare you do this? Don't you know the practice? Now we'll start penalizing. There will cause a breakdown of the entire system if such petitions are entertained. We are enraged and what kind of advice are advocates giving? We will start penalizing for advocates for giving wrong advice." So the Supreme Court is very much clear here, and the Supreme Court has imposed 1 lakh fine on the NGO while rejecting its petition seeking to set aside the Supreme Court's 2014 2015 decision to exempt minority educational institutions from providing the right of children to free compulsory education Act.
All right, Sambhav, please do stay on with us as we'll require your inputs on this other story that we are tracking. 56 former judges